Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sean from SeanDoesDIY. And in this video, I'm going to finish laying this vinyl plank flooring in my house. Now, I'd already done most of the house before I started making these DIY videos, but I wanted to show you how to install it and really how easy it is to install this if you're looking for something like this in your own home. So let's get started. All right, I'm ready to get started with the flooring. Now, the first thing I want to do is prep the room. I've already painted in here, so I would highly recommend that if you can, go ahead and paint your walls or a ceiling or whatever you're going to do. That way, if you make a little bit of a mess, it's not that big a deal because you're going to floor right over it. Now, I'm going over sheet vinyl that's been just glued to the floor. So you need to check your manufacturer's warranty and things like that. The product I'm using, there's no underlayment. It comes with an underlayment already glued to the flooring itself. So it actually voids the warranty if I put an underlayment on the floor and then put the vinyl planks on top of it. So just check your manufacturer, read the instructions that come with it, look on the box or whatever. Some of them do require an underlayment, but because I'm going over a slab, it's not really that big of a deal. And obviously you want to check to make sure that your floor is level and things like that. It's all in the instruction manual that'll come with whatever product you purchase. So yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna go ahead and rip out the molding or the trim along the floor. I'm gonna go ahead and do it around the door as well because I'm gonna go replace all that. And then I'm probably gonna go ahead and prep the door with paint before I do the floors, so that if I make a little bit of a mess, whatever, no big deal. All right, so you need a couple tools to rip this molding out to get started. You need your trusty utility knife, a hammer, and a pry bar to get it going. So let's go. All right, first thing I want to do is, this molding is put on with caulk on the floor and on the top of it. So I'm just going to take my utility knife. I got a brand new blade in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and just cut carefully around the molding here, just so I don't rip any paint or the drywall paper off the walls. So, all right, there we go. And check the top too. Sometimes they don't put they don't caulk the top, but this being an exterior door, I'm hoping they did. It looks like they did. So yeah, and on the doors, you want to do both the inside and outside of the molding. Yep. Go. And I'm not too worried if I mess this molding up because, like I said, I'm going to replace it anyways. So you just want to make sure you're careful when you're putting your pry bar between the drywall and the molding and stuff so you don't mess up your drywall. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Should come out pretty easy, I hope. Right, there we go. We got most of the big stuff cleaned up, but I know because I'm gonna be putting molding down, I wanna go ahead and prep it before I put the floor down because I'm gonna make a little bit of a mess. So there's caulk and stuff that didn't come off the drywall. So you can use, something like a drywall scraper or, there's several different kinds. This one works great. This one has a little bit of a sharper blade on it, but I don't really need that here. So the easiest thing really is get your blade on there and just gently do it so you don't scratch the drywall. You can just kind of come on up. I know I'm going to be putting the molding over this. I'm putting 3.5-inch molding on here, so I'm not too worried. Oh look, there's a drywall screw that I got to fix. All right, cool. All right, so I got everything cleaned up. I did a good vacuum and mop on the subfloor before I put the flooring down because I want to make sure that there's no debris underneath. But before I put the flooring down, I wanted to kind of show you how it works. Now all this vinyl planks, they're all pretty much the same the way they put together. It's just a tongue and groove. I'm using Life Proof from the Big Orange Box Store because they had the finish I like, and it was, you know, it's a pretty good material. So they were real simple, and I'm going to show you this as we install the floor a little bit closer. You know. But it's just tongue and groove. You stick it in there, and it locks in place. Boom, you're done. You're going to tap it in, and it's going to be locked. Done. So, but let's look at some of the tools we're going to need. So you're going to need your tape measure, so you can you know, measure your pieces to know where you're going to cut it. You're going to need your pencil, a utility knife. I have a ready speed square so I can mark the wood, and a hammer, a mallet. I bought a little kit that comes with this little pull bar and a tapping block. You can use like a 2x4 or something, but this one's kind of nice because it has it's grooved so it fits right in there. I can tap it, and I'm not going to mess up this part right here where the tongue, you know, the tongue goes into the groove. So a couple other things you're going to need possibly is to make life easier anyways. If you have a jigsaw, you can use your jigsaw, and if I'm going to be using my power tool, I've got my eye protection and I've got my ear protection when I come to that point. So there's a couple ways you can cut this. It's real simple. If you can get the vinyl floor cutter, or you can cut it with your utility knife. Now I was doing this when I first started. I just used my utility knife, but after you know, going at it for an hour or so, I decided I'm going to go ahead and get me one of these. So I ordered one, and man, that made life so much easier, just a whole lot faster, and nice clean cuts. But if you don't have one of these or you don't want to get one, they're simple. So let's say I measured it and my mark's right over here. Got my speed square. I'm gonna make a nice straight line. Hold my speed square down, and I got a piece of scrap plywood here that I can cut on so I don't cut the flooring. And you're just going to score it a few times. Done, and you can snap it, and it makes a pretty good cut. You know, where you're cutting it is it's going to be up against the wall, against the molding, under the molding. So if it's not a perfectly clean cut, it's not that big a deal. But this thing right here, this thing makes a nice clean cut, and super fast. You put it up there, find your mark, boom, you're done, and off we go. Nice clean cut. So you can do 45s, you can do small angles, depending on the size of the width of your material. But yeah, so that's what we got our tools. I think we're ready to go finally. Yep. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my my pieces, and we're gonna get started. All right. We'll see you in a minute. All right. So the first thing I like to do is I want to open up my packages, and I want to lay out the pieces so I can look at the patterns, so I don't get patterns that are, you know, similar right up next to each other. So let's go ahead and get a couple of these packages open. I already opened one. Those are from from when I was doing it earlier. All right. Get rid of that. All right, got some big pieces. So this one's a little different. This has 3 different sizes. And the 2 smaller pieces, they are the same width as the big pieces. So it just gives it a little variation. I kind of like it. I didn't know that's what I got when I first bought them, but you know, it is what it is, and I may do, and I end up liking it. Here's your instructions that come with it. It's got your warranty stuff, all that care and maintenance and everything. I've got about 1 million of these. We'll just get rid of that for now. All right. This way I can go through and just look at the patterns as I'm putting them down, and then we'll be good to go. So these usually have like a lot number or a print date or something like that on them. So if you can't do it all at once, which was my case, just look at the print date so you can kind of keep the same color or tone and things like that as you're doing it. So I think I'll open up one more and then we'll get started. Just be careful you don't break them. More instructions. You just want to be careful of these edges, the tongue and groove edges, so you don't bust them up, because then the piece is useless. You could always cut a small chunk off or whatever you need. Alright, that should be enough to get us started. Alright, so I'm ready to continue on from where I left off when I was doing the other room. And my first board has to be cut at a 45. Now this particular width right here unfortunately doesn't fit in my fancy cutter over there, so I'm just going to have to use my utility knife. It's a nice easy 45, so it's no big deal. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, grab my speed square, and I'm going to go ahead and mark a 45 right at the corner there, because that's where I want it to start, and it's not big enough, so we'll just flip it over and mark my line. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it while I got it here. So I'm just gonna score it. And like I said earlier, it's not that big a deal if it's not a super clean cut, because you know, this is gonna be into the molding here. Flip this around so I can hold it a little better without cutting my fingers off. There we go, find my line. All right. Well, normally easy to cut. There we go. And let's flip it over. And off we go. All right, cool. Stuff out of the way. Put my pencil back. Don't lose it. All right. So it's super easy. Just gonna put it in an angle. Get it away. Now you want to leave it about a 1/4 inch from the wall, because this is a floating floor. All right, I'm gonna get my tapping block. I'm just gonna start over here. Tap, tap, tap. Make sure it's set. All right, so this is where this will come in handy, because I can't get my tapping block all the way up to the end there. So I'll just lay this on here. Make sure it goes in. I just want to be careful I don't mess up the flooring there. There we go. Nice. And I moved it a little further away than I wanted to, so I can just give it a tap up against there. Beautiful. Give it a little tap down the seam. So you just want to give it a little tap down the seam. Make sure it's set, and off we go. All right, let's grab our next piece. All right, so I did a big piece on that one, so I think I'm gonna do one of these. I just wanna make sure that the patterns don't match. They're too close together. Kind of look, you wanna look at where you are coming from, and then also, you know, a few rows in. Let's see, these look pretty good. And on these, it doesn't really matter which one goes first. I just like to alternate it. Just to make sure. All right, so pretty easy. Just gonna line up this corner here, because this one they're gonna tap into place on that, both sides. All right, easy peasy. All right, couple of taps. Off you go. And once you get in the groove of it, man, these things go pretty quick. Lined up. Looks good. All right. Tappy tap. looks good. All right, that's all there is to it. I mean, it's super simple. And you just get going and off you go. So, yeah. All right, I'm gonna get to flooring. All right, so here we are, we're almost done, just a little bit left, but I've come to a door jamb. So what I want to do is I want to cut the bottom of the door jamb so that the plank fits underneath it. It just gives it a lot cleaner look instead of just, you know, cutting it around it so it's right up against it. Because remember, this is a floating floor, so you want to give a little gap so in case it moves a little bit. So let's see, let's take a look at this one. And actually that one is pretty good. That's pretty tight, but we'll make that work, I think. Let's see. Yeah, that'll be fine. Let's test this other one. Yeah, we need to cut that just a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a little mark with my pencil here. All right. And now you could use a handsaw. Boy, that'd be a pain. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my oscillating cutting tool here. And these things are pretty great. They cut through just about anything. They got all kinds of different blades. The one on here is for wood. All right, there we go. Easy peasy. All right, so let me go get my little vacuum real quick, and so I can clean up this sawdust before we don't want it underneath the flooring. So, be right back. And so now we're going to go ahead and finish putting the panels down, or the planks down. What I've done already is I've marked a line here, about 1 inch from the edge of the carpet, so I can put my transition piece down. The transition has a kind of like a little U-channel that you'll attach to the concrete, which you'll drill holes through masonry bits into the concrete, and then the transition piece just snaps to it. Super easy. So like when I go to change this carpet out here soon, I can just pull the transition piece out, put new carpet in or whatever flooring I'm going to do, and pop it right back in. So super easy. But let's go ahead and do this this piece over here. And so what I've done is I've already actually marked this piece, but I'm going to show you how I did it. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure from this edge over here. We got about 23 1/4. So come off of our edge over here, and 23 1/4. All right. So then what I did was I just made my 45, drew my line, then I measured up from that corner to underneath the door trim, and that's about 3 7/8. So went up my line there I pre-made, 3 7/8, marked it, and then just came back with my speed square, drew a line, and so that gives us a nice corner, and we're going to cut it. So we'll probably end up having to trim a little bit over here, once we get the carpet, but I want to make sure that, you know, what it is before I cut it. So, no biggie. All right, so get my safety gear on. All right. Cool. And clean it off. Now let's see how it fits and how much of this little bit we got to cut off on the end over here, if we have to cut anything off at all. So this is a little tricky part. So we're definitely going to have to cut a little chunk off there. Not much. All right, so I'm going to make a mark right here. And there. Okay. My 45 on there. And if it's going to let me, because normally it'd go this way, but we'll just kind of eyeball it. Doesn't have to be perfect, because the transition will cover it if it's a little bit off. All right. How that fits. Gonna slide it in the track as best we can. There we go. Into the transition. Oh, that looks good. That looks perfect. All right. Nice. That looks real good. Okay. Now, let's keep on going. All right. Piece of cutoff here for this last piece. So, you know what? I don't know if that one should be long enough. Hopefully, let's see. We need 19 and a half, and we should be good. Okay. So. First thing I'm going to do is on my 45 here. All right. That cut.
Okay. Go ahead and mark this 19.5 in here. There you go. 19.5. Right there. Let's see. This is gonna be about 10.5 down this line. All right. 10.5. Okay. I'm gonna go about 9.5 there. So hopefully all this lines up. Okay. Do this 45 off of there. About 9.5 off of here. Okay. It's not going to be exactly a 45, looks like. That's okay. Man, I am ready to do it. Okay, there we go. That. Okay. About 2 5/8-ish. See what that's gonna look like. That's not exactly 45. It's pretty damn close though. Okay. Let's see, we'll go another 1/2 inch or so, 1/4 inch underneath there, so about 4/8. That's about right there. Okay. All right. We can make an adjustment if we need to. All right. Let's see if this one fits. All right. Let's see what that's going to look like. It's pretty good. Get that piece out of the way. Nice. All right, and that'll be covered up by the molding.
All right, we're done. Nice. Oh man, I'm excited to finally be done with this project. Cool. Hey, if you like this video, you found it helpful, you do me a favor, smash that thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe, that'd be pretty cool too. Sorry, I'm at a loss for words here. I'm excited to be done with this. In the next video, I'm going to go ahead and do the molding and show you how I put that stuff in. So yeah, all right guys, well thanks. See you next time.